There's something wrong with her.
You care?
She's not moving.
So much the better.
The first thing you try to do with an episode, I think, is not make a stinker, and to create a story that works and to have it play. This story didn't have we had lots of episodes that didn't have a great immortal question. I thought that technically this episode really worked. The difference with this episode and other episodes are, you could have taken this episode and dropped it on La Femme Nikita, and it would have been a great La Femme Nikita episode. There was nothing that made it singularly a Highlander episode, but I still think it was a good episode. I still think it played, it paced. I think Tynan wrote a good script. It was the box. It was the box of the episode, and I think after all the years that you do a show, some of the episodes are going to play better than others, and some of the episodes are going to be about Talmudic questions, like how long do you have to keep a promise, or what's the difference between honor and vanity. But I wasn't good enough or bright enough to do that every week. What happens when you're writing shows like these is you come up with an idea that works, and you want to bow down on your knees and go, thank you, God, you gave me one, I can get rid of another one now. Because you just try to get the job done, and you're under incredible time pressure, because every 7 days, every 7 shooting days, every week and a half, you need another 55-page script, and that machine keeps turning. And sometimes you come up with great ideas, and sometimes, you just rely on execution. This one was a very well executed piece of material. It wasn't nearly as bad as some of the stinkers we had, or some of the attempts at comedy, like the Ransom of Richard Redstone, or the Richard Redstone, or the Zone, or some of the other woofers we put on.
Don came up with this great idea of The Thieving Magpie by Rossini, which was, you might remember that piece from Clockwork Orange. It's on the surface, it's a very light, fluffy, orchestral piece, little waltz. It's really, on the surface, not much to it. But you dig a little bit deeper, and there's this warped, quirky angle to it, which is, I think, one of the reasons it ended up in Clockwork Orange.
I'm the Queen's protector. I'm very good at my job.
Apparently.
And again, it worked because it was in a historical flashback again, and there was this tongue-in-cheek love scene in bed full of double entendre about the size of swords. And it was a sword comparison. And we put this music from Rossini's Thieving Magpie behind it.
Oh, well, your French toad stabbers, they're fine for some, but they're kind of puny.
You think them small?
Oh, they're hardly worth your while. Now, a Scotsman's weapon, that's another matter. Once it gets going, there's nothing that can stop it.
Really?
Aye. 2 hands to hold the thing. I thought you could even hold it.
Surely you exaggerate.
No, not a wee bit. Come to Scotland and I'll show you.
Scotland?
You didn't think I could bring it in here, did you? I mean, the bloody thing wouldn't fit through the door.
Oh, you mean your sword?
A claymore, of course. What did you think I meant?
Now, it wasn't a lift. What I had to do with that is go back to the original operatic score of Rossini and transcribe the orchestration and to be able to realize it with orchestral samples. And, of course, then arrange the music to fit the scene. It's not, you can't just take a piece of music and cut it in and expect that it's going to work with the scene. It needs to be molded and changed and following the action and the comedic notes within the scene. So I got to do that with Rossini's music, which was, again, a lot of fun to do and very satisfying.
Sometimes it was harder in the sixth season because we only had Adrian for a set number of days. He could only work a set number of days, so you had to work the script and work the show around the star's availability. And that sometimes was difficult. You have to understand that no one sits there and says, let's do an average show. You know, you spend the same amount of time. You know, part of you says, let's make something that works. And then you hope that it's great. Every script that we put out, we thought Magic can hit this one. At least every script that began, we thought Magic can hit this one. But you never know. No one gave up in any of the years. I won't comment on Adrian's performance in the last year. Was he tired? Did he want to go on to something else? Maybe all that's possible, but I certainly can't judge him. You know, he began to think, I'm a star, which is what he thought. And he was a star. And he was a star in this world. And he was a star in the world of Highlander. But what happens for all of us is we think that this is the way it is. Therefore, this is the way it's always going to be. And we caught a great role with Highlander. You know, it was a great pleasure to work on. It was a great struggle, and that it worked for all those episodes and all those years are testimony to Adrian, Bill Panzer, and the writers.